Sweet, sweet.
Hi, and thanks for coming to watch this video from Carolina Varsity. We're covering the 1A Western Regional Finals, and we've got Mitchell going over to play Murphy.
Dale, this is another game, one of those games that looks really close as far as when you look at the team statistics.
Right.
We couldn't find any information on individual stats for Mitchell, but I found a few things for Murphy. Murphy's averaging about, they have got 1,652 yards passing this year, and alongside of that, 3,434 yards rushing, so that's about a 2-to-1 ratio for rush to pass, which that'll keep the other team honest. And then as far as a scoring differential between the two teams, Murphy has scored 547 points this year. Mitchell scored 540 points this year.
Right.
That's only a difference of 7 points. That's about a half a point per game over the season. And then Murphy has allowed 154 points. Mitchell's allowed 180 points, and that's less than 3-point differential per game over the season.
Right.
So you're talking about a 4-point differential there between points scored and points allowed, and both of them are, by the way, in favor of Murphy. And Murphy's got a good quarterback. His name's Curry. He's got over 1,500 yards this year, almost approaching 1,600 yards. Yep. And their go-to running back is let's see. Well, actually, the thing is, it's McCray. He's got almost 900 yards.
Right.
But then you got Medigart right behind him with 632 yards. They don't have 1,000-yard rusher on.
No, they just spread it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they got two guys with over approaching 500 yards, Creelman and Allen. And they'll keep the defense guessing who's going to be carrying the ball. Right. And then as far as receiving, Nelson's got 115 yards in receiving, and Newton has got 254 yards in receiving. A couple other guys spread out here, there, with some yards. But those are, it seems like, his go-to receivers, and they're approaching 400 yards for total in receptions. So I didn't look at special teams. It's on here, but I didn't look at that. But I'm gonna, and it's just mainly I'm gonna go with, as I said in the video a while ago, I'm mainly going with Murphy, primarily because there's a home team. Because these teams seem to be on paper so even. It's hard to say, well, this team got the edge over this team in this or that, but and like I said, I couldn't find individual stats for Mitchell, so I don't really know what to compare these numbers to. Right. But as far as team stats, they look very, very even.
They do look very even. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw that part out before I say a few things. The report is predicting a 25-23 Murphy win. So based on just that analysis of the scores, it looks like it's, and who they've played, etc. It looks like it's going to be a fairly matched ball game. I like Murphy because, I do know a little bit more about Murphy. One looking at him last week for that Mountain Island Charter game. They do provide stats, so you can get a little better glimpse into who they are. And for a mountain team, they throw the ball a bit more than what you might expect. You mentioned Joey Curry. He's got 95 completions for 1,589 yards, 16 TDs. His QBR rating, his QB rating,
127.
127.1. I look at that because if you got to have your quarterback make a play for you, how good is he? And
he's capable,
the QB rating tells you he's fairly capable. He's thrown a lot of balls, 159 balls he's thrown, and just to look at that, they rush for the 34 in yards 473 times. So their yardage is about 2-to-1. Their play call-ins maybe somewhere around 3-to-1, something like that. So while they do rush a lot, they do throw the ball. And I think that's an important factor.
And another thing too is look. Let's see. I think they had. Oh yeah, let me share this with you too. Common opponents they faced this year. Mitchell and Murphy both played Cherokee. Now Mitchell played Cherokee twice. They played one that I think they met him in the playoffs in the first round maybe.
Yep.
But anyway, or second round. But anyway, they played them at home and away. Murphy played them at home, and Mitchell. By the way, both Mitchell and Murphy won against these common opponents. All of them. Mitchell beat Cherokee 45-14. Murphy beat Cherokee 42-13.
Right.
That's a wash. They both played Andrews. Mitchell played Andrews at home. They won. I'm sorry, at Andrews. They won 34-7. Murphy played Andrews at home, and they won 48-0. They both played Hendersonville. Mitchell played Hendersonville at Hendersonville, won 35-32, 13-point difference. Murphy played them at Hendersonville. They won 21-17. That's pretty much a wash too. They both played Hayesville. Mitchell played them at home. Murphy played them at Hayesville. Mitchell won 58-6. Mitchell won 58-6. Murphy won 55-0. So they, in their common opponents, they beat them by very similar margins, which is one more indication of how even these two teams are.
So here's another one. So I looked at that and I came up with the same thing. Another thing that's kind of similar, their losses are to 2A schools.
Right.
And they lost to the 2A schools by similar margins. Murphy lost to Franklin 42-7. Mitchell lost to Mountain Heritage 34-7.
But you know that Mountain Heritage, I was looking at that too. Murphy had beat Mountain Heritage. I'm sorry, no. Yeah. They had beat Hendersonville.
Right.
And Mountain Heritage had lost to Hendersonville, but Mitchell played them after that loss.
Exactly.
And so that might be, maybe they thought, oh, we got this game, comparing, well, they played them and they won, and we played this team and we beat them, so we'll beat this team that they beat. And you don't know what goes on in the mind of a high school kid.
Right.
So and maybe they took the game a little too lightly. I don't know. It's hard to tell because I didn't see the game. But, there could have been a whole lot of things working there as to why that chain of events happened. But you're right. They did lose to 2A schools, lost by similar margins.
Yeah.
But the thing that impresses me about Murphy was their win last week.
Right.
A lot of folks thought that Mountain Island Charter would win by a couple touchdowns, but they did not. And of course, it was a close game. It was just a 1-point win, but a win's a win. And Mountain Island Charter had a pretty good offense. And I think they limited them to 30. I think the final score was 35-32 or 33-32, something.
Yeah.
35-34. It was 1 point.
Right.
So first off, Murphy was able to stay with them offensively, and they was able to limit them defensively. 35 points, you say, didn't limit them much, but they've been scoring a lot of points.
Yep.
So in a way, they did limit them. So anyway, I'm still going to go with Murphy.
And part of that limiting, I wanted to point out another player, number 76, Adam Powell. He on the season has 122 tackles, 73 solo, 26 tackles for loss. In the game last week against Mountain Island Charter, he had 14 tackles. So he's a player, a big defensive player that plays very well from what I've seen. Look back through the season at his stats and who he played against, and his coach had called him out earlier when they won their conference as being, he thought he was the best defensive player. Very, very good ball player. So just somebody else we wanted to throw out. We think it's going to be a tight ball game. We knew a little bit more about Mitchell, maybe our minds might change, but I think home field advantage is going to play a major part of this ball game. Come tell us what you think, and after the game, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.
Some joy, memories are made of this.
The memories you gave me.
Don't